Hi YouTube, my name's Lena. I am better known here on the internet as LinaTheJesusWitch, and like my handle suggests, I am a witch who works with Jesus. So today I just wanted to take a moment to introduce myself, talk a little bit about what I believe Jesus witchery to be, and introduce this YouTube channel and tell you what I have envisioned for what I'm going to post here and all that good stuff. So let's chat for a little bit. Like I said before, my name's Lena, and I'm a witch who works with Jesus. I started doing Jesus witchery oh goodness, maybe like 4-ish years ago. Before then, I had an extensive history with like going to church. I was raised Roman Catholic. Then I went to different evangelical churches throughout middle and high school. Then after high school, after I had my first baby, Dexter, I'm also a mom of 2. I have a lot going on in my life. But after I had my first baby, Dexter, I started to go to a Christian cult. That's what we'll call it. It was called the International Church of Christ. And while I learned how to read my Bible there, I got a lot of religious trauma and things that I had to work through because of that church. I left that church when I was pregnant with my second baby, and something about my second one just spiraled me into witchcraft. I actually have a more long form version of my story, which is going to be posted here on Monday. I host a podcast called the Jesus Witch Podcast, and we're going to start posting the podcast here on YouTube. We're going to post new episodes on Mondays, and then like part of the backlog on Fridays, so you get like a little bit of a taste of what we're doing now and then what I was doing then, because this podcast has been around for a year or so, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, the long form version of my like story and what led me to Jesus witchery will be posted on Monday. So if you want to hear that and like really hear how I got to this place and like why I do what I do, that's a great place to start. But for now, I want to just introduce what I believe Jesus witchery to be and why I practice it. So witches use different deities for their practice, and I personally believe Jesus witchery or Christian witchery, whatever label you want to put on it there, to be simply a witchcraft practice with Jesus and possibly the Abrahamic God and the Abrahamic goddess as your deities. So my main pantheon, the people that are the deities, not people, they're not people, they're gods, but the main gods that I work with are the Abrahamic God, the Father. I also work with the Abrahamic goddess, who I call her Asherah. She's the mother aspect to me. In Genesis, it talks about how we were made in God's image, how we were made to be like them in our image. There's definitely plurals used when talking about God creating humans in their image. So that leads me to believe that there are multiple facets of God. So the two that personally reach out to me are the Abrahamic God, the Father. You can call him Elohim. You can call him Adonai. There's a lot of different names that you can call him. I just simply call him God or the Father. I tried to use like the fancy names for him, just didn't resonate with me. I'm a basic and I like calling him God, and that's totally okay because that's the relationship that I have with him. So he reaches out to me. The goddess also reaches out to me. I call her by Asherah. I do have an episode of the Jesus Witch podcast, which that's on streaming platforms if you want to find it, but it'll also be posted here as well eventually. But those are like the two, like they're like my like mom and dad deities, you know what I'm saying? Then I work with Jesus. I believe Jesus to be more of a spirit guide versus anything else for me. I still question his like deityness because like he's kind of pretty much a demigod in my opinion, you know, because he was really like half god, half man. I work with him a lot as like a spirit guide. Everything I do in my life, I try to do with the lens of like, how would Christ want me to do this? How am I going to follow his footsteps? And, you know, and it's not for me in like this evangelical, like trying to control my life kind of way. For me, it's in this, I want to be a good person. I want to be nice. I want to be kind. I want to be giving. I want to share the things that I have in my life with other people. And Christ encourages me to do that in a way that's authentic, that's helpful for others, and that really resonates with me. So that's why I work with him as my main deity. I also do work with pagan deities outside of the Abrahamic pantheon. I mostly work with my Abrahamic pantheon deities, specifically Jesus. and within this Abrahamic pantheon, I also do work with like one saint. I work with Saint Paul. I have a very particular relationship with him. I struggle with like chronic pain and chronic illness, and I believe that he had some sort of like thorn in his side based on, or like some sort of like physical ailment that was challenging for him during his ministry based on 2 Corinthians 12. So I resonate a lot with him in the aspect of like trying to share the message of God, the message of Christ, while also being not feeling the best physically, like long story short. So those are like the Abrahamic pantheon dudettes, deities, spirits that I work with. Then outside of that, my pagan deities, I have 2 currently. Loki. I work with Loki because my husband is of Norse descent, and he started like coming into my life after my second was born, and after a lot of like chaotic events happened in my life. Again, I talk more about this on the episode of the Jesus Witch podcast. It's going to be posted here on YouTube on Monday. But I work with him to like help thrive in the chaos and how help to be like accepting of it, and instead of it like overwhelming me so much, Loki helps me to recognize that sometimes things are out of our control, and that's okay, and he helps me be like really content with that fact, as content as I could be. Then I also work with the Roman goddess Venus. I am Italian, so I felt like a pull to work with her based on like my ancestry, but also because I just genuinely wanted to work with a love goddess. I really wanted to work with a love and beauty goddess. I needed that connection. Because I was having a lot of issues with my body. I like the way I look. I actually do think I'm a very like attractive and pretty person, and I'm fairly confident in that. However, when you have really bad chronic pain, and you know, it's more of like an invisible thing, it makes you feel very disconnected from your body and from like the way that you feel. So I wanted to work with her more on that aspect of like starting to feel more like myself in my skin, and like glamorizing myself so that I do feel like myself in my skin, and just using different tools such as like glamour magic or color magic, or like you know, different like flowers and things like that in my practice to feel more confident. But she was also like a really fiery goddess and somebody who didn't take shit. So I also want to work with that aspect of her, and like stop letting what other people have like done to my body kind of affect the way that I see myself, and she's definitely working with me on that. I also do work with Lilith. Some people consider her to be like a demon and outside of the Abrahamic pantheon. I personally consider Lilith to be within the Abrahamic pantheon. I believe her to be the first wife of Adam. That is what Jewish lore talks about her as. However, I follow her more modern lore, where like she was the first wife of Adam and basically said like fuck you to him because she didn't want to serve under him. She didn't want to be subservient. She wanted to be her own woman and be like the dominant person in the relationship. So she left the Garden of Eden in order to fulfill herself and to feel powerful and to, you know, not take shit. So I work with her for not taking shit. She's also a really great deity to work with through like purity culture stuff, because obviously she's more of like a, you know, a smegzy. I don't know if YouTube has like the same kind of word filter blocks as TikTok, but just in case, we're gonna say it that way. But she's more of like that kind of deity, so I've definitely worked with her on like shedding those kinds of chains from me. But I'm really into deity work and like doing spells with my deities, and the way that I do that as like a Jesus witch is simply like I add Bible verses to a lot of my spells. I teach about this a lot on Patreon, and I show people how to cast Bible-based spells there, but like I find verses that resonate with me, and then I go and I find like some sort of like protection spell, and then I'll just modify it to what I need it to be in order for it to resonate with Christ and for it to align with my Bible-based practice. You know, if I'm casting a spell with Loki or with Venus, I may not use a Bible verse. A lot of the times I do, because I love Bible-based spells, and I love the Bible because it is such a versatile tool, especially like the book of Psalms and the Proverbs, right? You can find so many different things in there, and it just being versatile could just be very generalized, but sometimes I'll use like, with Loki, I'll use runes. With Venus, I like to just use like songs and stuff and like really like pretty things. So I do that a lot as well, but I really like making Bible-based spells. And I feel like a lot of my personal witchcraft practice centers around like healing. I very much feel like I need that aspect from Jesus and just from spirit in general. I feel like I need a lot of comfort. So I focus a lot about healing in my practice, and I write a lot of healing spells for myself. And I do a lot of like comfort spells or like gratitude kind of stuff. Obviously, I throw in my manifestation, like my money bowls and all that good stuff. But, you know, I really like the healing aspect of Jesus and just the part of him that's so accepting and like loving, and he really genuinely wants us to come as we are and just be ourselves with him and do our best to be better humans. Like, he doesn't ask for much. He asks for growth. He asks for acceptance of others. He asks us to love other people, and to show his energy through that, so that we're like, you know, in the part of the Bible at the Great Commission where he says like baptize members, you know, preach to all different nations and make new members of the church, that kind of thing. I'm prefacing obviously, but for me that's a lot about like showing other people the kindness of Christ and showing them like, hey, this is like who this man was. He's just loving and he's just like accepting, and that's who I'm gonna be. So that's a lot about like, that's a little like summary of like my practice and what I kind of believe. Not kind of, but what's what I believe, not everything that I believe, obviously, but like a nutshell. So a couple of things that I have envisioned for this YouTube channel. One, I want to post spell work on here. I want to teach you how to make Bible-based spells and teach you how to cast them. Some videos are going to be public and for everybody. Other videos, like spell casting videos, are going to be specific for my Patreon supporters. And if you're interested in checking out my Patreon, I will leave the link for that in the description of this video. So you can check that out. I also want to do like witchy story times. Just get on here and like talk about like weird shit that's happened to me while I've done spell work, or, you know, like dreams that I've had, or, you know, like experiences with astral projecting or whatever. Like I want to come and share my witchy stories. I also want to do like little vlogs on here. I absolutely used to love and still do love daily vlog videos. They fulfill me. I don't know why. I just absolutely love them. So I want to do that with you guys here. And, you know, talk about like what it's like being LinaTheJesusWitch and the things that I do during a day. And then I also want to do like Bible verse breakdowns. Come on here, grab a verse, talk about it for like 5 minutes and say like why I like it, why I don't, like how I use it, sort of thing. I think that could be really fun. So yeah, I just want to create like a little bit long form content. Maybe, you know, I don't want every video to be like 20 minutes long. I want like things to be maybe 5-10 minutes, just a little bit longer than what I would typically do on TikTok, but just have something else for you guys to connect and for you to learn. And yeah, so if you have any suggestions for YouTube videos, you could leave them in the comments, or even have like a Google Doc about YouTube and like things that you guys might want to see. So you could fill that out. But yeah, I think that's what I want to say for this first video. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And starting this journey with me here. I am so excited about it. Today I filmed 2 YouTube videos. I filmed this one, and then I filmed a little DIY flower crown spell. Isn't that so cute? I freaking love it. It's a little Easter flower crown, and I did this spell tutorial for my Patreon supporters, and I'm really excited to share that. And I'm just excited about YouTube. I think it'll be fun to do, and something different. And I hope that you join or and stick around or whatever for the ride and like all that good stuff. But anyway, before I keep rambling, I'm gonna pop off of here. Thank you again for subscribing and for supporting the Jesus Witch podcast and the Jesus Witch movement in general. Are we a movement? I don't know what we are. But anyway, I think the endings of these YouTube videos are going to be even more chaotic than podcast endings. So stay tuned for that, guys. Cool. Also, I'm sorry I keep looking at myself. Like, I'm filming on my phone, so like I have like the selfie mode, so it's like my face is right there, and there's this little dot here that's like not even highlighted, and that's for the camera. But then there's this huge screen with my face, and I want to look at my face because I'm a Leo midheaven and I like my face. But anyway, I'm gonna do my best to ignore my big face here and just look at you going forward. But it'll take some time. You know, bear with me as I learn how to YouTube and I catch my flow on here. Anyway, that was really cringy. All right, I'm gonna go now. Thanks for subscribing. Oh, hit the subscribe button if you didn't. Thank you for subscribing if you did. You can find my other socials. I have Instagram and TikTok. You can find those in the description of this, and then you can find the podcast and all that good stuff. All the things that I offer will be in the description, the doobly-doo down there. So yeah. All right, cool. Thanks for watching this chaotic video. Bye.